So in our last episode, we spoke about the internal factors that affect your business, right? Internal factors like pricing, packaging, quality, benefits, and big promise. Those things that make you stand out from your competition, basically, right? Those are your internal factors that you can use to your advantage to stand out, right? Today we're speaking about the external factors, those things that you can't control, right? Things like foreign exchange policy, things like tax, VAT, things like even COVID-19, right? These are things that just happen overnight and there's nothing you can do, right? But as a business owner, you should do a situation analysis and understand, okay, this is what happened and this is how we're going to take advantage of the situation. Bonjour, welcome to another episode of MIA with Damini, a bi-weekly show targeted at helping African business owners sell and market their products and services better. As I explained earlier, you have no control over these things, right? There are things that happen on the outside that affect you as a business owner on the inside, right? You have the political factors, you have the ecological or environmental factors, you have sociocultural factors. Again, we are in Africa, so we're very big when it comes to culture. You have technological factors, you have the economical factors, right? And then obviously you have the legal factors. Now, I'm going to be using examples to explain each and every one of these factors and how, as a business owner, the advantages and disadvantages, pros and cons, and what have you. So let's start with the political factors, right? Political factors, um, they can revolve around country and civil unrest. For example, now if there's a civil war happening in a particular country or state or province, depending on where you can't really do business in that type of situation, right? Because once you put things out there, once you set up shop, people can come and burn it, right? For example, now NSAS, during the NSAS protest in Nigeria, business owners were advised not to go and open their shops, right? Because people were out there looting, burning things down, and all of that, right? So that's a political factor right there. There's also the issue of corruption, right? When you're in a corrupt country, right, where you have corrupt leaders, there's only so much you can do as a business owner. All right, so next up we have environmental factors, things like climate, things like pollution, even a pandemic, right? These are things that you don't have control over. Okay, but exactly, this is a good example. Now, there are businesses that were doing a situation analysis, right? I wasn't there, but I'm sure they said that, okay, you know what, there's a coronavirus pandemic. How can we take advantage of this situation, make some money, and improve lives of people, right? Again, what's business? You providing a solution to a problem and making a profit from it. That's what business is in my own terms, layman English, right? And you have the sanitizer guys, Too Sure. I don't know if you guys know Too Sure, but Too Sure is actually from Pepsi or is it 7 Up? One of those two guys, and from making beverages, those guys went to making sanitizers, and I'm sure they're making a lot of money from that. Next up, we have the sociocultural factors, right? So you have things like culture itself, you have things like languages. For example, now you're selling a product that is meant for the Yoruba people in Nigeria, but you're talking to um, people in Sudan about a Yoruba product. Like they wouldn't understand the language, so it's a bad fit, right? They have things like even religion. There are a lot of places where they don't sell alcoholic beverages. You don't expect those places to now have. You don't expect the alcohol companies to now go and start investing huge marketing sum or huge marketing budgets into those kind of environments or into those kind of countries or communities, right? It doesn't add up. Then you have things like tech, right? When it comes to tech, things like Wi-Fi, internet connectivity, um, access to data, mobile service providers, different access to electricity. So you have generators, you have solar panels, all those kind of things, right? Now, in 2021, your business must be tech advanced, right? You must be able to take advantage of things that are within your grasp in your own community. So if you have things like Paystack, you have things like Flutterwave, you have things like Jumia that you can sell on if you're selling a product, right? All these things go into your technological factors, right? If these things do not exist, you will not have a place to sell, right? Let me give an example. In places like Kenya, most of them make bank transfers using MTN, using their MTN app, my MTN app, right? Very few times you see them going into a bank to go and do deposits, withdrawals, um, things like that, right? They make use of the app. So that's how tech has played a role in the external factor in your situational analysis. If you don't have tech in your community, in your state, in your province, in your country, you are limiting yourself, right? Your business is limited. There's only so much you can do. For example, now, another example now is e-commerce. You're selling maybe Ajire. You're selling Ajire. At some point, you would want to sell to people outside the country. You want to sell to people in other continents, in Europe, in America, right? In Asia itself, if you can get that far. But you want to sell to those kind of people. And that's through technology. That's through e-commerce softwares or solutions. All right. Now let's talk about the economical factors, right? As of today that I'm recording this episode, Nigeria's inflation rate is currently 18 point plus percent, right? Exchange rate for black market is $1 to about 480 naira, right? Now, if your business is into importation of goods using dollar rates, you are I can't curse on this episode or I can't curse on this, but you get what I'm saying, right? Um, Now, that's something you can't control. You are not CBN, and you don't have any control over it. But what you should be doing as a business is start looking for alternative methods. Start looking for how, instead of importing ABCD, where can I source ABCD within Nigeria? Okay, let me look for how I can build ABCD. Lastly, we talk about the legal factors that can affect your business or are most likely affecting your business, because you need to have a proper legal structure in place already, right? So you have things like business registration, you have things like trademarking, copyright laws, all of that, right? Importation and exportation, all those things fall under legal factors that you honestly have no control over, right? Um, you could wake up one morning and hear that there's a particular government body that you need to go and register your business with, right? It happens a lot, not just in Africa, in all other parts of the world. Just like I mentioned earlier, right? As a business owner, when you see a problem or a challenge or a situation, right? You need to look at it from a solution standpoint. Okay. So, example, there was coronavirus, there was a pandemic, people could not go outside to shop because of lockdown. People needed to make sure that their hands were sanitized and kept clean. People needed to wear face masks. A lot of different things came up, and a lot of businesses, just like a lot of business owners rather, just like you, started creating new outlets for their business and taking advantage of the situation so that at least they could still make some money for themselves and take care of their employees, right? So I don't want you to look at today's episode and just listen to all the problems or all the external factors that you have no control over, right? The truth of the matter is, when you combine your internal analysis and your external analysis, you create what we call a SWOT analysis. That's the solution or the summation of both your internal and external analysis. And a SWOT analysis simply means, analyzing the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats for your business, right? Now, for an internal analysis, you will understand the strengths and weaknesses of your business. So if your business has a good process, right, you have a good process from production to delivery, that's a strength. Okay? But if the quality of your product, or even the service you're rendering, is not fantastic, that's a weakness, right? So you can improve on that using the internal analysis. The knowledge that you got from your internal analysis, you can then use that to improve your product or your service, and then it doesn't become a weakness anymore. It now can become a strength as well, right? Um, for opportunities and threats, you want to look at the external factors. Again, coronavirus came, Pepsi or 7-Up started their own sanitizer company, right? Um, um, a lot of people started doing deliveries. They created a delivery chain or a delivery arm for their business and started delivering things like groceries, vegetables, all of that, because people could not go out, right? So those are opportunities. Threats could be, again, they could not open their store. Threats could be dollar is too high, right? You might find yourself in a situation where you have more threats than opportunities. But as a business owner, you're supposed to take advantage of the situation, find a way out, and create solutions that make everybody happy. Both you as an owner looking to make some money, as well as your target customer or prospects looking to find a solution for this pain that you've discovered for them, right? That's the beauty of doing a business. Without a situational analysis, you really can't create a plan or a marketing plan, right? You can't create a marketing plan that would have any value long term for both your business and the customer. So make sure that you have your situational analysis in place. Now we understand what a situational analysis entails, right? We understand that it should have both an internal analysis focusing on the internal factors that are within your control, as well as an external analysis, right, where the factors involved are not within your control. Okay, and then this will now let us know the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities and threats, based on the business that you are currently running as an entrepreneur or even a manager, right? So I'd like to say thank you for listening to another episode of MIA with Damini. As you well know, this podcast is sponsored by Oja Digital, an agency targeted at making marketing simple and productive for small and medium scale businesses. So next time, I say au revoir.